We are live, back in action from the Gator Swamp. I'm gonna tell you guys something. B didn't want to show up today. She called in sick, but we have a replacement,
Listo.
Coach Luis. Thank you for being here. How you
Thank you
doing
for
tonight?
having me. Thank you for having me. Doing good. Hasta que nos te tocó sacarme, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí. And you could dijiste, no, my face is not made for the camera. I
It's not
remember that
made.
first time I
Yeah,
asked you.
yeah.
What happened? You're
I
here
know,
now, bro.
and you put me on my bad side too. You didn't even take the good
Oh
side.
shit. See, you
Damn.
could have told me we could have switched places,
Yeah,
man.
you're right. That's on me. That's on me. I didn't even think about it. I thought like you were gonna have like a script ready for me to
Oh
go
nah, man.
everything
It's
and
all freestyle is all real.
okay. No, yeah.
You
All right.
know,
I
it has to
like
be
it.
authentic.
Tiene que.
If you do a script, it's fake, no?
No, pues
Well,
sí.
what do you think?
No, yeah. Well, you know, but people, you know,
Yeah,
they
but you have something
oh
to say? What were
no,
you saying?
no.
So B, I don't think she wants to be here no more, guys. So send her a message, pinche vieja. We have her replacement. Casi, casi le doy tu micrófono, güey. Pero lo cambié, mira. Ya, si dice que no, pues ya ahora sí.
No, yeah, replaced.
Replaced. All right, loco. So the question I always ask, what planet are you from? Where do you come from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
We know you didn't bring me here just so for me to talk with myself,
No,
but
but I
we'll
mean,
get to the chisme later.
yeah, we'll get to the cheese, man. But introduce yourself.
Well, you know, as you might know, maybe that one person uh, that's on there is probably Machu uh, watching. You know, obviously, I grew up, you know, here Oxnard, Marquita in Colonia. You know,
The projects.
projects. You know, through and through to this day. It's the only place I feel comfortable, which is weird. You know, so seeing how it's changed so much from growing up to now, it's a trip.
How do you feel that they already took down all the projects, man? The ones you grew up in,
Well, I grew up right there on well, the ones we grew up in, or the ones I grew up in was right there on off of Marquita.
by
And
Colonia Road.
on Colonia Road in
Oh, okay,
Marquita,
okay.
right in that corner. Um so but they still tore it down, right? Because they revamped them, they made a new, which
Yes.
was needed a nice little facelift or
Didn't they have like
whatever.
they were like blue before? No, back in the
Yeah,
days, yeah,
and
those
like grayish
grayish
and
blue.
blue.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um
And they were just like flat, no? Like on
yeah.
the front of that. And now
Yeah.
they look like houses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least they did make it look, you know, like I said, a facelift. It makes it look a little pretty. You know what I mean? Um, but you know, looking at all the other ones that they tore down, like the single ones, or what we used to say, you know, all where the viejitos lived at.
Yeah.
That's sad, bro. You know, now I pass by and I just see it empty. It's you know, duele. You know, like it's and you could just look around Oxnard as we you know kind of like zoom out a little bit and just how many fields are gone.
Oh yeah. And it's gonna continue to happen,
I
man. The
know.
little by little they're building more and more. So as from what I know, I don't think they're gonna build any more projects there. They're doing a skating park.
Okay,
I
that's what
think
you
they're
mean.
gonna extend the Sol from. I think that's something that they're planning on.
Yeah, but you know they've been planning on doing baseball fields or something next to
By
Pacifica.
Pacifica, yeah. Está todo feo todavía,
Right.
huh?
But hey, the
Ellos mandan, huh?
eh,
What can we do?
well, I mean, we can do something, right?
Oh yeah, we can.
But
But everybody has to be on the same page.
that's the
It can't be
problem.
just you or me
Yeah,
by
because
ourselves.
obviously for us, for me, you, you know, what I mean, for me, it's like, oh, that's a beautiful area to build some more soccer fields,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
But then when we're real about it, Pacifica doesn't even have a pool,
yes, yes.
right? So let's get them damn
And do
pool.
they have like water polo tour? No.
They no, dude, that you know was a trip when I was in Pacifica. What's it called? We had a badass water polo team. We had badass swimmers.
Where do they
All
practice at?
they would practice at OHS.
Oh
So
shit.
they would have to go wake up, go over there before school, and then a bus will bring them back, bro.
And their rivals, man.
And their rivals, and we will whoop their ass still. And but yet again, nobody would care, right? Like that was the funny thing about when I was in high school, right? That they never cared. About all the sports that were good, they never cared, bro. But all the sports that sucked, like back in the day, you know, not anymore, right? Hey, my respects to you know, the Tritons out there. You know, I think they made it to the championship CIF again, and they won it, right?
Okay.
So hey, we got two under our belt, and hey, I'm a Trident for
Yeah,
life,
that's where
baby.
you came
You know what I
from.
mean? Heck
Yeah.
yeah. But back in our day, man, I remember when we first beat OHS, man. We threw a party. Everybody was over the moon. You know what I mean? And también for basketball, when they first beat them in basketball, they were over the moon. And like soccer, we always had one of the best soccer programs,
Yeah, I remember.
men's and
I
women.
remember seeing like little like promoting the games, right?
Yeah,
Pacifica versus OHS, the battle of Gonzalez and this
yeah,
and
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
fuck, you know?
yeah, yeah,
That sounds
bro.
crazy, man.
Yeah,
But they are on the same
same
road.
street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and like I said, it was crazy because soccer, we were a dominant program. Like I said, water polo, swimming, the Neelys. I Because it was funny because when I went in, it was, I guess, the eldest Neely brother, and then it was a sister, and then it was a younger brother. So like for basically the whole time I was in
Mhm.
school, there was a Neely there, and bro, they
But
were
all of them were good.
at swimming, water polo, all of them. I mean, obviously it was a team effort, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
bro, we had badass swimmers. We had, but we didn't even have a pool. Nobody would even care about them, bro. And then they would always be doing
So
good.
you think it's a good idea for them to maybe build a pool
I
and
I
right there?
do. Heck yeah, man. Like how are we gonna look when we played varsity soccer, and I know all the varsity players that played before me, that was our secret weapon, right? That we had a horrible ass field. We would go play all these little white schools everywhere else, and they had turf, bro. We would mop the floor with
Yeah,
them.
because you guys were already used to the rough fucking
Yeah.
turf.
Or they come over here, they can't even control the ball. Y nosotros,
Should be bouncing all over the
yeah,
place.
no, you couldn't give a pass to save your life, dog. And now they have turf. They have, they put up the scoreboard, all this and that. But we could spend all that money for all that, but we can't buy or get a pool.
Yes.
Like, come on now. Like, I get it. Like, I understand. I'm
It
not
has to be
dumb.
even, distributed evenly, right, in every sport and support
Well,
every
that's what I was
sport.
gonna. That's what I'm going to, right? Because I'm not dumb. I'm not wet behind the ears yet. I know that boosters are coming with money, and hey,
Yes,
well, I'm
yes.
gonna give you this or new turf field. I need, but it's like, and I get it. Like I said, my mad props to the Tritons that they went on and got two CIF championships, right? Um, but at the same time, it is a public school. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, let's give everybody some love. You know what I
Yes, yes. It
mean?
has to be
So
even.
yeah, so fair is fair, but I know I kind of got sidetracked on the story of
No,
or the
no, yeah.
answer of who I am, but yeah,
That's where you come from. It's still the city,
yeah,
man.
it's
It's
dude.
part of your story.
Yeah, no,
So
it
you
is.
say Marquita, right?
Marquita, bro. But
Ha,
yeah,
ha,
that's the trippy part, bro. That for me, I went to Cesar Chavez for pre-K back when they had the pre-K over here right by Marquita
okay.
until somebody lit that thing on fire.
Somebody did it?
Yeah, bro, because
Oh
it
shit.
was with a firework. Um, you know what I mean?
They fucking throw firework in there
Yeah, well,
or
because they were just throwing fireworks, and then
but
I
los
think
que se van para arriba, some of them
yeah, and
come
then
down. It could have landed on top of
yeah,
it, so
yeah.
it's
So
fire, huh?
that's what happened. And it's like I remember que se quemó and whatnot, and yeah, so like it all kind of really started in Marquita, and just the reason why I am who I am. You know what I mean? Just because that's when you know we got to experience the hood. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
And like I tell a lot of people,
Now, look, a lot of people sometimes se confunde dicen the hood, as in like gang members, but it's not always. People are proud of where they come from, but doesn't mean you were part of any gangs or any of that. You're just proud of the place you came from, right? A lot
dude,
of people say,
se
they se
confunden,
confunden, yes.
and that's exactly where I was gonna. That's where exactly where I was gonna go to, because a lot of people will ask me, you know what I mean, like or I'll tell people, oh, I made it out, you know what I mean, I made it out the hood, right? And they don't understand that it's the environment,
It's the
right? It's
environment,
the
yes,
environment, but at the end of the day, you know where you grew up makes you right. Just because
of course.
you weren't there, banging and stuff, doesn't mean that you didn't see what was going on
You grew
around
up
you.
with a lot of people,
Yeah,
yeah.
and a lot of people that like the story I told you, there was somebody that was right there. They were growing up with us, and then once they got to that age, that
Everybody
prime
had
age.
choices,
It,
and
yeah,
everybody made a choice, right?
and yeah, and but that person in particular made sure that the rest of us were kind of kept away. You know what I mean? And whenever
So if
y-
you guys wanted to go with the homies, he
yeah,
would
no,
kick you
no, no,
guys out.
yeah, no nos dejaba. Like he would be like, nah, like they would come over here
So
with.
you think that thanks to him, maybe you guys, since he pushed you guys away, you guys were able to stay away from that, or
It definitely helped,
yeah,
right? It definitely did help because whenever different characters are coming by, you know what I mean.
some of them want to reel you in,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Because they always, and they're like, no, 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 leave him alone,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And he would kind of create that little bit of a wall or a shield, if you could say. For me, raised by a single mother, you know what I mean. It was, you know, there's a reason why I love soccer so much. And whoever picked that song of El Morro, bro, that's 100% me.
That's
And
dope, bro.
I gotta
That's
give I
fucking
gotta give
dope.
a props to whoever picked that
All
because
right, the hustle talk person.
hey,
There it is. They giving
hey,
you props.
hey, straight up, because growing up I remember singing that with all my chest because
Oh shit! So you actually fuck with that song? You do
yeah,
like that song, yeah?
yeah, dude. Like, what's funny is in my jale, I was showing it to my one of my coworkers, is talking about like, oh, you guys remember this song? This was my song when I was growing up, and then it's like
What a
the
coincidence how that
yeah,
works.
dude, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, and so yeah, people just uh, so for me, it was soccer, right? That was I just fell in love with it, and part of the reason why was because my brother played soccer. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So you always look up to him, and you always, what I mean, try to follow that footsteps. But I just fell in love with it, and it was a very freeing feeling.
When did you start playing soccer? When did you first pick up a ball that you could remember?
Oh man, it was like 6, 7 when we moved into the hood.
Six,
Sí,
seven.
ay, carajo. Ay, ay,
Oh damn.
ay. Yeah, so you know what I mean. Like I still remember the first day we moved into that apartment. Like that's a trip because I remember that first day, but I don't remember like too much else here and there. I remember the first friend we met down there, or when we met was Noel.
No idea.
Yeah, and then we were, he was like a brother to us. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, but what's it called? But yeah, so it was just for me it was soccer. So for me that was my escape, from everything.
From
And
a lot of problems. Yeah.
yeah, and my mom was always like, you know, might not have all the money in the world, but if you guys want to play soccer, I got no problem. But guess what? You guys better do good in school, and you guys better, you know, stay away from the streets. And that's when we talk about the streets, that's when we are talking about the game, man. We are talking
Yes,
about all
yes.
that.
It,
Um,
it was outside your door.
yeah, it
Right?
literally.
Yeah, as soon as you exit your door, it's there, dog.
Yeah. So yeah, that was her condition, right? Like I will always make sure you guys have what you guys need or whatever, whatever. Um, as long as you guys meet those requirements. And so for me, soccer was always my way out. Both mentally and physically. So for me, soccer is big. So that's why when people say, "Oh, it's just a game," I do get a little aggressive over it because it's
It's
like,
because you have a special connection with the sport, man. Other people might just be there just for whatever reason, but you have a special connection and a reason why to love it, right?
yeah, exactly. And to me, it was, the way it started to pave the way for me getting out. You know what I mean?
No,
And it never let me get into that, that street mindset. Although, right, like you grow, like I said, you grow up in that environment. So there's certain things that, to this day, you know what I mean? I could walk up and down, Colonia and not feel a single bit of worry, but I could be in daylight anywhere else. And dude, I'm
yeah.
looking over, estoy
But that's
paniqueado.
because of where you come from,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I know where I come from,
Yes.
and it's like I feel like they know I don't belong.
That kind
Because
of creates a division, no? Like
yeah,
segregates everybody, huh?
yeah, because we always knew what cars didn't belong. We always
Yes,
knew
yes.
who didn't
So
belong.
even though you weren't part of that, you were still brought up around the same,
Like the same
yes,
principles in a
same
way.
principles.
So
Yeah.
we and like I said, I we saw a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Sometimes people that are not even part of that get hurt. You know why? Because of where they live. So you have a point.
Yeah, like you know, what's crazy is I know everybody remembers it because it hit especially Pacifica hard because a lot of people knew him, but it was Froilan.
Froilan, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about that
Yes.
story where we were outside and we actually saw the car dip. You know what I mean? We didn't think much of it until we started hearing the sirens, right? And he was just
A
there.
normal
Yeah, he was
wrong place at the wrong
wrong
time.
time, and to your point, right? Sometimes you're just there and
But
y te
you
agarraron.
know what has to do with that too? The way you dress sometimes, because you maybe you're not part of that, but the way you dress say something else, and then you're comfortably walking on the streets dressed like this. People assume.
Yeah. Yeah, we're humans and we're full of prejudice. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes,
And people want to say we're not, but bro, we're all
yes,
prejudiced,
yes,
dog.
yes.
Um, and and it is what it is. And when you, like you said, when you grow up there, you have subconsciously you're always,
On point, you're everywhere you
yeah.
go.
But nah, man, growing up in the hood was awesome. It was amazing because I think it definitely built a tougher skin. You know what I mean? I'll admit when I was younger, I was a lot, you know, more timid. I was, more así, like, happy go lucky in a way. And then little by little, as you start growing up, you
You
start
start
real,
seeing, witnessing things,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. So you start getting a little bit of a thicker skin because of that. But I remember in the summers, dude, growing up in the hood was, dude, it was. There's nothing like it. I just
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it. And it was always sports related. You know what I mean? Whether it was we were playing football, soccer,
And
everything.
you live walking distance from Palmitas, right?
Yeah,
It's there, huh?
yeah, all right there. Palmita, dude.
Well,
Uh,
what can you tell us about Palmitas? What
oh,
stories,
bro.
man?
Oh, crap. As
Hey,
a
a lot of youngins now don't know about Palmitas, and they will never know.
Yeah,
You
well, yeah.
know,
Now they will know
yeah,
because they build
yeah,
on it, bro.
yeah. They built
Exactly
on
like you
it.
said. They're taking our memories or whatever. Like the day you sent me the picture of
Yeah, the
Palmita, bro,
Palmitas.
that took me back, bro. Because what's funny is, um, uh, no, because I'm trying to be careful and I'm not trying to play them out.
Yeah.
But Jesus, right? I remember the first time I experienced choforo at Las Palmitas.
Choforo.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say the story behind that because many people don't know, and like Jesus will tell you, all those are the real ones. The real ones know, you know what I mean, and the real ones don't. They don't know. So he knows.
Yes, yes.
He's gonna if you tell him I shouted him out or he's gonna get all mojado. You know what I mean?
Hey,
So.
if he's watching, what's up, loco? If you're not, fucking weak fool.
He's a weak fool.
Yeah.
He doesn't even live in the hood no more.
Damn.
You
Where
know
does
what
he
I
stay
mean?
at now?
Huh?
You can't burn him out.
I am not gonna burn him out, but he knows where he stays. That's all
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
say. He knows where
Yeah.
he stays. But nah, so yeah, and obviously, I joined the army, so left, and that helped me a lot too. And then came back and
You joined the army after high school? No,
no,
no.
no, I started going to school for a little bit. Got the wife pregnant, right, with the eldest kid. So how to kind of get a job. I had a cool job, but it was a job. You know what I mean? It was not a career. So that's something that I
Just a
always
regular
I
9 to 5 or what? Like,
yes.
what were you doing?
I was I would like move cars and wash cars for BMW, the one
Oh,
in
okay.
Cam.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, but like I said, I was working nine to
Which
five, and
BMW were or next to Tesla? No, or where Tesla was?
yeah.
It's the same spot where Tesla is, or
No,
Talado?
it's al ladito.
Talado.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the owner sold it already. It's different
Oh,
owners now than the
oh,
ones
okay,
that
okay.
yeah, so I was working there and it was like you said, it was firme. But at the time I was still living with my mom. She was living with her parents, you know what I mean? Like I didn't think it was right to take her out of her dad's house until, I can actually provide a house for
Yes.
her. But even though I was staying with my mom's and everything, like there was times where it was like, damn, either I'm putting gas or I'm gonna go buy diapers.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It gets hard, huh?
And it gets hard, bro. And even though I had help, it was still hard. So
Yes.
I was, trying to like just find a way out until one day, Because like growing up, I was always intrigued by the military, obviously because of 9/11. You know, I won't get into all the conspiracies right now, but
But you were mad. Or what?
but yes,
Yeah.
heck yeah, I was mad, bro. I wanted retribution, um, and but at the end of the day, like I said, that's something that always intrigued me about the military. And I wanted to join straight out of high school actually, but my mom at the time was like, no, no, I don't want you to join,
Es que
and
piensan mal, huh? Oh, they're gonna go. This is gonna happen to
yeah, well,
you. That's the first thing that crosses their mind, huh?
that and when they're younger, or when when I was younger, the thought process, oh, porque eres mexicano te van a mandar primero, te van a mandar
Así
primero.
piensan, pero it doesn't work like that, does it?
No, you know what's actually funny? The majority of the people that they're sitting in front are actually güeros,
Oh, damn.
because the güeros are the only ones dumb enough to pick those jobs. And
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
mean that in a negative way. I love my brothers in arms, my brothers and sisters in arms. You know what I mean? But you know, well, some of them don't realize until it's too late. Is that
When they already sold their soul, huh? Now
w-
they're already gone.
yeah, and a lot of them, when they've been there 10, 15 years and their body is completely broke, you know what I mean? A lot of them, what they don't realize is, what are you going to do when you get out?
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you get out? Right? And they're like, oh
So a
man,
lot
none
of
of
them
this.
don't build no careers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just, kind of just giving up their body. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So the güeros were like, oh, because my dad was an infantryman, or my grandfather was an infantryman, and blah blah blah. So that's why they choose
They
it.
just
It's
the
the
pride.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the job you pick that dictates whether you go in the front or you go in the back.
Oh,
You
I
know what I
see.
mean?
I see.
So, and the infantrymen are los primeros que se me van. You know what I mean? And majority of them are the white boys. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but los güeritos. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, but of course, as the Mexicans, we're always like, oh, nos van a mandar primeros porque no nos quieren, blah, blah,
So
blah,
so infantry don't really develop real skills while they're in the army, or
blah.
like you would know whatever you chose to do that could help you when you get out. What do they do, or what's the difference?
Janitor,
Oh shit.
security guard, cop, um, personal security, anything of that nature, really, because think about it. These guys, like I said, I credit to them because they live
In the
in the
zones,
shit.
huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they live in
yeah,
the
yeah.
shit. There's just no other way around it. They live in the shit, and their number one job is to be able to fire their weapons very, very
So that's
well.
how they know.
That's what
That's
they
that's how
know.
they're trained for
Yeah, and they know
to
how
fire
to,
weapons.
if
Yeah.
they need to take that hill, they know how to take that hill. So everything's tactically based. So when you get out, that's what I'm saying, or maybe a personal bodyguard or personal security or algo así. So that's why a lot of them, when they get out, you'll see them just be like, oh well, working at Lowe's, and then don't, or Home Depot. I'm not knocking nobody. Hey, get your money however you can. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
But you know what I mean. Like at the end of the day, it's like, for me at least, the way I always thought was, I want a career. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why my mom didn't want me to join the military, right? Because growing up, I love to argue. That's why when you told me the other day that the homie Machu got in trouble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, it be that way because I know firsthand, right? Because I was the same way. So they would always tell me, "Oh, el abogado, you should be an abogado, this and that." So
You're always
like,
talking back, huh?
yeah, and I'm always there, willing to fight and argue and blah 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 blah. So and I was always smart, but I just didn't like school. School was not for me. But
That doesn't make you dumb. You just have other goals,
yeah,
no?
it's
Or you
just,
see things different.
yeah, and it's just like, I just, great test taker. Oh, but tell me to do the homework. Hey, but
Hey,
Macho, do your homework, or
yeah.
any of the kids, if you guys are actually watching, do your homework.
Do
Um,
what to study and all that. That's not your thing.
yeah, it's not even, dude. I finished two of my degrees, and um, it's still not my thing.
How did you do it? A huevo?
You gotta, I just gotta, you have to find ways. You gotta find
You gotta
ways of
find ways
what's,
to get it done,
yeah,
especially if it needs to get done, dog.
yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because in reality, you know, in school we go to school, but in school teaches you how to flip burgers.
Yeah,
If we're honest, they
how to
teach you
work. Yeah,
how to be a worker.
how to follow. Their
Exactly.
rules and stuff,
But
huh?
they don't. It doesn't.
Follow a time, huh? Clocking in,
Yeah.
clocking out, lunch, and all this. They program you for that.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, dude. we could get into
Yeah.
that, but then they're gonna shut hustle talk down. So I don't wanna get all up in that. But yeah, bro, that's how they would program us. Since the 19, it all started in 1915. But hey, I'm not so excited, by the way. Um, just in case, um, if you ever want to do your own research. But what's it called? That's what they program us for, to be a worker, bro. And because think about it. Oh, they tell you answer this math problem, right? And if you answer it, they're telling you there's only one right answer, right? But they're how does that promote thinking? How does that promote creativity? How does that make you truly,
Yeah,
challenge your
yeah.
mind? And I think it doesn't. And that's because they don't want us to think.
And then sometimes they don't accept the way you solve the problem. They want you to do it their way. When what does it matter when you give them the right answer but in a different way? They
Exactly.
really don't allow that. You have to follow
I know,
certain.
especially nowadays.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like it's funny because my wife, when my eldest was like, "Oh, it's math. Go tell your dad. Your dad's good at math, and I am good at math." And he showed me the thing. It's like, "Oh, that's too easy. Look, you do this." He goes, "That's not how you do it, Daddy." And I'm like, "Well, what do you
yeah,
mean?"
yeah.
"Oh, well, you got to do this." And I'm like, "Excuse
Yes,
me."
because the teachers want to see the whole breakdown of the
Yeah, but
numbers
then
and stuff. But
and then now they have the common core that they want you to break this down, and that the grouping y quién sabe qué, like they make one problem into 20 problems,
yeah,
and then they give
and
you
then
20 problems
to get the same number, man.
to get the same number.
Yeah,
Like
same answer.
what are we doing here? How is that going to prepare these kids? How are you going to truly challenge these kids to think outside of the box and be creative? But that's not what they want
And in
kids to.
reality, in real life, after school, after high school, you don't need all those fucking solve to be able
Bro,
to solve those problems.
ma-
Maybe if you become an engineer and stuff, building, it could maybe useful for that. But who's really becoming like
but think about it. Back in our day, right? Back in our day when we were going to school, ¿qué nos decían las maestras, right? Oh, you're not going to have a calculator in
yes,
your pocket all the time. Guess what? Now, aquí lo
it's right
tenemos.
here.
Aquí lo
It's
tenemos. You know
with
what I
us.
mean?
Yeah,
So it jokes on you, right? So that's why now it's like, and then now we have AI. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So like, come on, man. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I just feel like the education system is more for like I said, programming us and stunting our creative freedom. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yeah.
And that like I said, I'm the proof of it, right? Like I'm able to get my 2 degrees, and I just don't do studying. There's people that'll sit there and study and read every single book and highlight everything because you don't need
Now,
no
now,
no
did the military help you get your 2 degrees? Like
no.
that was a start, or
Well, okay, so then we gotta go a little bit further back, um, because so I was working full time, and then I was what's it called, also going to school full time. So I was going to VC or OC, well,
okay,
and actually and VC también, trying to get on my generator classes because I was like, yeah, this ain't it. Like I knew that wasn't it. I knew that wasn't my end destination.
yeah,
Um, so I was already almost done, and then I made a decision, of because I was working at one point in the base, the Port Winnie base, and moving cars and whatnot. And one of the dudes there was a reservist, and I was talking to him one day, and like, oh, hey, what kind of, asked him, what kind of benefits do you get? Like, oh, what about the kids? And blah blah blah. And he starts, I was like, oh, you know what? And it kind of was
it
just,
sounds good. Yeah,
yeah, it was just brewing in the back of my head. And then I, fast forward, working at BMW, working full time, going to school full time, so people have it make excuses, but and then like I said, and I had a kid, a kid there too, and so I was just like, this ain't it. And so then I decided to join the army. Um, I still kept going, and then when I got to the army, they have tuition assistance, so I kept
okay.
going to school while I was there. Um,
So you took advantage of the
oh yeah,
benefits
hey,
there.
because they're gonna use you, so
So
you better use them,
yeah,
dog. Hey, that's straight up. That's what I told every single one of my soldiers, bro. Like, hey, look, right now is the time for you to use the army because when the army tells you I need you,
You
they're
gotta
gonna
go
use you. They're gonna squeeze everything out of you. So you better use them.
take advantage of the opportunities they give you, huh?
Heck yeah. So I finished my bachelor's. Um, I basically completed my bachelor's with through the like the army paid for it, right? Um, and then I and then actually I got the job that I'm in now, and even though I wasn't 100% done with it, I was in my last class, and they were like, it's okay. Like basically, you already have all your curriculum, and they gave me a chance because of the army. I mean, they knew,
Oh,
so. Um, and then while I was there, as you can tell by how handsome I look, you know, um,
show 'em what's up, man.
because of the injuries or whatever, I qualified for another program, and they actually helped me pay for my master's because you know at the time of the work, although I was working there, I was under added stress because I didn't have all the tools because, so I went and got my master's to be specific to my job. So, what I mean, I was able to do that while I was working full time again. You know what I mean? So everybody wants to make excuses and whatnot. And to be
You
honest with
gotta
you,
figure it out, right?
yeah, you got to figure it out. And like I said, my wife did support, she always did, help me out, and always, was like,
I think that matters a lot,
oh,
man,
it
to have
matters a lot.
support. Yeah,
Yeah, and
especially when with your partner, coming from your partner.
yeah, so she was definitely great about that, and at least being in my corner to keep, going, or at least, not being a roadblock for me, you know what I mean? So, shout out to la vieja. She's probably not watching. Um, but
We'll have a replay. You can show her.
and
Just show her the highlights,
then
man.
the highlights, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but no, yeah. So I just and that's what I learned. And what's crazy is I learned the people that I work with, they're very smart, intelligent, and nine times out of ten, it's always thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what it's all about, man.
Yeah, and
Imagination, man. You create, you solve problems.
yeah, so that's why, so that's kind of like in a quick rundown. That's a little bit of a quick snapshot of kind of my life and whatever. And the most important part, is the chisme that you've been wanting to get to. Um, just kidding, but
First, I want to know another thing. So, when did you decide to start coaching, or why?
well, that's where the
Yeah,
chisme is
yeah,
coming
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
because um,
So, did you still play soccer during the military, or you just
yes,
pushed it aside? Oh yeah.
yes,
So
I'll
soccer,
get to that.
yeah. So soccer's been a part of your life
It's
forever. Like,
it's it's me.
okay.
It's me.
So,
And and like I said, I've benefited so much from it. Um, now it's my therapy. I go see my therapist and everything still, but soccer's my therapy still. You know what I mean? And honestly, I play it. To I play it because it's a freeing feeling. You know what I mean?
okay, you enjoy it too.
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
enjoy it, and it's funny because I have nothing to prove. You know what I mean? People still, some people still invite me to go play with them, some don't. I don't really care. At the end of the day, I'm honestly on there. I'm at that point to where it's win or lose. I really don't care. The fact that I still can
As
play,
long as you still
yeah,
do it.
I thank God every day because I they were supposed to at one point they were saying that what's it called, they were gonna have to teach me how to walk again, crap like that. So, the fact that I go from there
To be able
to still play
to
soccer
continue, be
and
able to coach and all this,
and
right?
dude, there's nothing else, nothing short of a miracle. That's the only way I can
But then
explain it.
again, this comes from you not giving up, man. Right? It's not just they could say you can't do this, can't do that, but it's how you
Yeah,
push
well, yeah,
yourself, right?
yeah, yeah, and well, that's the thing, right? That's why they would always call me the abogado, right? Because
Abogado, los
because
defensores.
yeah, because the people would, my favorite thing was, "Oh, you can't do this." My answer would be, "Watch me." You know what I mean? Like, watch me.
Yeah,
And
that's the same way I move, man. Like, como chingados? No, I don't take no's for answers. You could
yeah,
tell me no, but okay, I'll figure it out.
exactly. And so so like you said, I've been playing soccer, even through the military, you know what I mean? And uh it was funny because I have my compadres that were over there in Texas, and then the wife would always tell me, "Oh, you should coach, you should coach." I was like, "Nah, I don't have the patience. Nah, I'm gonna smack one of these little kids. Nah, I'm gonna choke a little kid. Nah, I don't want to get in trouble, you know."
My joke was, especially that when they talk back. Huh?
And I was like, "Nah, nah, nah," right? And then I always wanted my eldest kid to play soccer. He plays every sport. He played basketball, soccer, football, blah blah blah. And I always wanted him to play soccer, but I never coached him. And when we were in Texas, I was like, you know what? I can't say I tried everything to get him to like it because I haven't coached him. Not that I'm, this badass or whatever, but it's just as a father,
Yes,
I,
yes.
I you know, I haven't tried it. I haven't tried that, and that's what changed me, right? That's when I started coaching. I did a little rec league over there when in Texas, and that's when I realized, okay, you know what? I'm probably okay. I'm not gonna choke the kids.
I got it, huh?
I
Yeah.
got it. Okay, so
Have some patience.
yeah, and then I came back, and then I and what would make me mad about my older child is that he would get asked, "Oh, did you like playing soccer?" Yeah. Did you like your dad coaching you? Yeah. Do you want to play soccer? No. Like,
Oh
bro,
man.
like, what do you like? Like, my brain just does not comprehend, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I was like, oh, and when we moved here, I told Trophies, hey, because he had the age. So I told Trophies, hey, can my kid come? He goes, yeah, tráelo, tráelo. I was like, hey, but I was like, be patient. He's blah blah blah. He goes, no, no, tráelo. And I would tell him like, hey, do you want to go? And at first he was like, yeah, yeah. Went and got him his shoes. Y cuando vino el 20,
El día
no
de
quiso.
práctica ya no
Yeah,
fue.
no, yeah, he didn't want to. Let the shoes, never even wore them outside the store.
Oh damn.
Um, but whatever, you know what I mean. Like I always told you, I'm not gonna force him.
Yes.
But then I was like, okay, you know what? I realized, okay, you know what? I can do this, right? But then I was just like, whatever, life moved on. Then uh, one day my wife asked my son Elias, "Oh, do you want to play soccer?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then I'm like, "Are you sure, Papi? You want to play soccer?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You sure? You sure?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Okay." I hit up Danny right away, and I was like, "Hey, do you have a team his age, or do you know of anyone or whatever?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I made sure to get him signed up and everything that weekend, pa que, while the
Oh,
iron's
so
hot.
yeah, yeah, so
Yeah,
like,
while the iron's hot,
yeah.
you gotta get it while the iron's hot. And while he started playing, and then since he was playing with the older kids, the team that we just played last week,
Oh, that's where Elias was.
yeah, that's where Elias was. So he was obviously being smaller. They outgrew
Yes,
him.
yes, yes.
And I started losing him. So I kind of was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go away. And I'm probably put him in AYSO just to see if he even likes it. You know what I mean? And while Danny being Danny, you know, um, oh, but that's not even how I got to coaching though.
How did you
R-
get to coaching?
Yeah, I got to coaching because when I took him to practice.
But was it because of Elias or your oldest son is the one that started you?
Well,
Or
he's the one who kind of started.
your oldest
He put
son?
the idea in
Oh,
my
okay.
head that or he's the one that pushed me. Not because, oh, Dad, I want you to be my
You
coach,
were able to
but
see that you could do it because of him,
yeah,
right?
but because I was trying so hard to at least be like, I at least tried everything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? At least I have a clear conscience with him because I know I tried everything. And at this point, it's okay. Like it's okay if he doesn't like it. It's the same problem with basketball. He wants to play basketball, he doesn't want to play in a team.
he just likes it.
He likes it. Oh, he plays during recess, PE, or lunch or whatever with his friends. But nah, I don't want to play the game. I'm like, do you not realize that right now in junior high, you being so tall, you're gonna get
Yeah,
put in
because
the A squad
he's
just
a
because you're
big boy.
tall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because everybody else is just so short. And then he goes, yeah, but nah,
Especially Raza, huh? They're
yeah,
usually pretty
yeah.
short. Yeah.
So and then but whatever, right? Well, again, I'm not gonna push him, but then what is it, Elias? So when I took Elias to go practice, Herita was like, because I'm not gonna be that parent that isn't engaged. That if my kid is not paying attention, I'm a correct them right then and there. So I was trying to help my kid get up to speed, And Guajerita saw that. He goes, "Hey, Luis, can you get half the players and take them over there and have them do the
Oh,
drill?"
damn.
So then I'm like, I'll help you, like, whatever, I'll help you. And then I was just like, oh, whatever, and I was helping them,
So you became like an assistant coach or
yeah. So
something,
I
yeah?
became like
Sin
a
querer.
sin querer,
Yeah.
and they would tell me, coach. I'm like, no, 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 I'm not the coach. That's the coach. I'm just helping them run practice. Y Herita just didn't take that for an answer. He just kept going until finally, okay, I was the coach.
Assistant coach. Yeah.
Yeah, and I finally gave up, and
Coach.
I was like, okay, fine. Um, so then when Elias, I was gonna take him to a YSO or whatever, just to see if he even liked it. I told Danny, I was like, hey, you know what? I think he needs a break, blah blah blah. And Danny's like, no, 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 I can't lose you, blah blah blah, and all this. And then del jueves al viernes o sábado ya tenía a team for
Y no,
me
que nomás
in
te lo
in,
aventó, que.
in, in Elias's age.
So were you forced to be a Tigres coach?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But here is something that I briefly glossed over. You know what, dude? I messed up. I didn't prepare for today. I apologize. I truly
No,
apologize
you're good.
because I would have had. I don't even know if I have one. I know I have one of them, but I know I don't have all the old school ones. But I like I told Danny, because he was, he was designing that logo, and he gave me a bunch of whack ass ideas, and I was checking them, and he was over here trying to
So you had to approve this.
100%.
So this is your approval. If not, they
Yes.
wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for me, right, the whack ass fool that isn't coming next week because he's being a little
So the week for the
yeah, the
day,
weak
huh?
fool, straight weakness, dog. um if it wasn't for me, also we wouldn't have blue and orange. He wanted this whack ass color scheme. All right.
What colors? A ver.
I don't even remember. I could look back, but it was like some navy blue. I was some weird blues and some yellows. I'm like, bro, get your
But
ass
these
out
are
of
the
here.
Tigres colors, no? Like,
Well, because Daddy put him in his place and told
oh,
him,
okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean? Like, so the reason why, and then people might be thinking, oh, what gives you the right? Well, what I believe gives me the right is that although this is a logo that was changed, you can go back to a different logo that was run by my padrino Fernando. You know what I mean? He had his own logo.
It was Tigres también.
It was Tigres también, right?
Was it
Uh,
Oxnard Tigres or just Tigres or what was
it was just like Tigres,
Tigres?
right? The reason why it's Oxnard or Oxnard came in to the Tigres is because we finally went to Coast, so they
Oh,
could know
okay.
where we're coming from, right?
Oh, okay,
Oxnard, so
okay.
putting Oxnard on the map, city of chicas, baby. You
Yep,
know what I
yep.
mean? So when we go back, what's it called? There was another version of this logo or version of the logo that said established, right? 1999, right? And if you do the math, I was born in 92. When did I start picking up what I told you, right? 67. You,
6, 7.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
What, the math takes you.
So you played in Tigres as a little
I
kid.
played in theaters as a little
Oh
kid,
shit, that
but not
long.
only that, I played in the very, 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 very first
The first team, the
Team
first year, yeah.
Tigres that started off as RA Tigres, right?
Oh,
Real Acapulco Tigres.
and that team was based off Colonia Tour. Where did you guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh
We
shit.
desfile de inauguración was in the Colonial Park, in the Camino del Sol Park.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I still remember that. It was bad. Gabriel,
Little ass Luis right
yeah,
there. Yeah.
Gabriel. He's the one started, and they were his family's from Acapulco. That's why it's Real Acapulco
Oh, okay,
Tigres, right?
okay.
And then Fern took over, and then it was just kind of like Tigres, you know what I mean? But it was just always Tigres. But that's why.
So you have a special connection
Oh,
into the team. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why when he asked me, when he was asking for my opinion, I told him straight up, if you want my opinion, it's gonna be a biased opinion because and especially if you want to call it Oxnard Tigres and you want to call it established in 1999, because you want to,
You
you
gotta
want to keep this,
follow what
you
the
gotta follow,
yes, yes,
you gotta get in line, homie. Like,
yeah.
I, and so, um, when the first uniform we had, I know you've seen some of the kids were just like literally blue and like a yellow,
Yeah.
right? Because we were
I seen
just
some with like stripes, blue and like yellow stripes or orange. I think I seen Emilio with it.
no, that one is for the older kids.
Older kids.
I'm
Oh,
talking
okay,
about
okay,
our the 2019
okay,
team.
okay.
When we started it, at first I was like, you know what, let's keep it cheap, right? Because at this age we don't know how many kids are gonna stay, how many kids are gonna go.
Yeah,
So we found something that was super cheap. It was yellow and blue, nothing really fancy. We threw on the logo, we threw on Tigres, just we were just
just a
trying to,
something basic. Yeah.
yeah, until he started, bugging me for these. And I told him, Danny, I just bought uniforms. You need to back off. I'm not ready for that yet, right? And I told him I need, I was like, I know there's a shuffling coming of kids are gonna come, so I'm not ready yet. When I'm ready, I will tell you. And so yeah, but when he was working these up, he was asking different color schemes, this and that, and I was like, no, 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 no. First and foremost, we have to go back to orange and blue. That's first and
Those
foremost.
authentic Tigres colors.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like especially the fact that he's able to get all these superimposed and whatnot, and get them like done cheaper than some of the other people that be uh
Trying to tax and shit.
tax, and they show up late and they disappear, wouldn't answer. Bro, we ordered a uniform for Elias. It took like 3 or 4 months to get it, and
Oh damn.
we didn't even get he didn't even answer us.
The season was already over, huh?
Yeah, dude. And as soon as we were tell that fool, hey, we're gonna cancel the order. Oh, hey, no, my bad. Nah, dog. And then I told Danny, hey, and that's why when I told him,
You can't depend on that guy.
yeah, and then I told him, for my team, I don't want to go through him. We're gonna go through somebody else. So, and and he found a little website, and then eventually he ended up with these people. Um, but yeah, so that's why for me, Tigres, there's a long
But
lineage to
how
it.
long did you play in Tigres as a kid?
Ever,
So
ever,
you were always a
until
Tigres.
literally until the day before I joined. I left, literally left for
The,
basic training.
the military.
Yeah, I played till
So
in Tigres.
so how many years can you say? How much? So six,
Was what?
7.
I know, and I say I'm good at math,
Yeah,
¿verdad?
yeah, a ver.
What, I'm 33, so what, 27 years? 27, 26 years?
Oh damn.
Yeah, because I left for the, well, no. No, my bad, pimpin'.
A ver.
Because I
I thought
left
you
for
were
the
good at
military.
math,
Yeah,
loco.
no, because the 9 years that I was in the military
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
count. I was
Oh yeah,
counting
don't
that.
count. Yeah, yeah. So you
It,
do 26 minus 9
yeah,
or
well, yeah, right. So that's what, 15.
oh that's a long stretch.
That's still a long stretch,
Yeah.
dog.
So
Um,
you were just Tigres, Tigres. You
yeah,
didn't play any other
one,
team?
one, one. Well, no, I actually, you know what? I lied, because there was a few seasons where once again they changed the age group and there wasn't enough people for me to have a team. So then I would go join another little team for a while, and then until they made a team again, and
And
then I
then
would
you
come
come
back and
back.
then whatnot, and I would always keep coming back, but it was always forced that I was forced out of the team.
Or it wasn't you didn't
Ye-
want to leave, you were
Yeah,
forced.
because as soon as they had a team my age, I would always come back. I would always come back. But whenever we didn't have a team, then okay, pues I would.
So what happened to the founder of Tigres from 99?
Gabriel,
Yeah.
well, the reason why he handed over to Fern was, life circumstances. We'll just say
Okay.
that. So he was just
Okay.
working too much, and he couldn't keep
Keep
running the
up,
team.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So it's been how many people have had Tigres? 3, 4 people or
that have been in charge of
in charge of
Tigres,
Tigres,
I
yeah.
would say with Danny, it'd be technically the third.
The third. Oh, so it's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
because it
It
was
hasn't
Gabriel.
been all over the place.
Nah, it's Gabriel, and then it's my padrino. But my padrino married Gabriel's sister or cousin, niece, something. Pues familia, no.
See,
So
see.
he got it, and then he ran it until his son Nando got turned 19, 20,
They,
and
they
whatever.
didn't keep on.
Yeah, and then that's when he said, "Okay, I'm done." And then that's when Danny, whatever he, he was in all the teams, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna bring it back," right? So then he's now taking over. So is still kind of continuing, and unless diabetes gets him, hopefully we'll have him for a long, long time, that he'll keep having
Yeah,
Tigres
yeah.
going for a long time. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, it's
But for
it's
your players, I think it's cool that they should know that you played for the same team you're coaching now. That's cool. That's
well,
fucking dope, man.
I don't know. I'll ask him. I'll ask him on Monday, and most of them are gonna care watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Well,
they're gonna be mad because they know I'm about to make a run.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. They gotta run, man. Because
Yeah,
now
yeah,
with the big fields,
yeah.
man, they gotta do it.
But but that's the thing, right? To the chisme, right? Or to I can't come up here and not take parting shots at people, because or not, just in coaches in general. You know what I mean? Because everybody is always everybody calls himself a coach.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Everybody calls themselves a coach, and you know,
But
um,
what's a coach?
to me, as somebody who mentors, teaches, develops, you know,
See, that's an important word. Develop. A lot of coaches don't have what it takes to develop.
uh,
They just want to take the easy way out, right?
pues claro, and those are
Cherry pick, and
oh,
ya no te
exactly,
sirve el que sigue.
exactly, and we don't play with cachirules.
Yeah.
Everybody's 100% registered, and if they're not, then you know they're not coming. They're not playing. Um, I don't. You know,
I have a question for you. How do you feel about coaches that focus a lot in just winning, man? And so they go and pick kids for trying to win, or they're willing to cheat to take a win instead of developing the kids and make them champions, man.
so that's where I have to throw a dig at Oxnard,
Okay.
right? Because the mentality in Oxnard is, our plateau, or the La Cima, right? That we're trying to get to. Back in the day was La Gran Liga. Now is whatever it is, right? And we ruin kids because of that. And like you said, they cherry pick, and oh no, come over here, and oh no, 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 come over here, and you have the kids get, oh, over here you won't pay, or oh, I'll buy your kids some shoes, and oh, and all this and that, and you ruin them. You don't give them the proper
I
mentality of
think you
work.
you make their head too big at
Yeah,
some
yeah,
point, right?
yeah. And for me is if I could make them winners on the field, that's a cherry on top. For me, I want to make I want to make leaders. I want to make
Yeah.
somebody who's going to be successful in life. I want to make somebody who is going to stand up for the person that can't stand up for themselves. I want to, you know, how do I say this? I want to have the Lord work through me to reach out to these
You
kids,
transfer it to them.
and hopefully we return some family values back into our society, because right now it's take the easy way out, cheat, steal, lie, all of that stuff. And to me it's like, what, I think we need to get a little bit back, to being honest,
Yeah,
being
but I think
truthful,
that
and
the only
hard
way to
work.
change that is like we had this conversation before. It's teach them since they're small, coach them, because you can't fix a teen already,
Oh
man. It's
no,
gonna be
yeah,
freaking hard to do it. But if you could mold a little kid into to a
you just
leader
said
to
the
be better,
key.
yeah,
You just said the key, right? Mold,
yeah,
right? So to mold, you have to, you have clay, right?
yeah.
And
It's a
you know who?
process,
Yeah,
to be able to.
you know what's funny too, though. Jesus and our God is called El Alfarero, right? Basically a potter, right?
Yeah,
So and there's many songs about it where it's like, oh, shape me and guide me, like like clay, like, you know what I mean. So that's why I like that metaphor, or the thing that you say that, right? Because those are the two things that are important in my life, right? Soccer, my belief in Jesus Christ, right? So, and plus obviously my family, right? But
yes, yes.
family and Jesus Christ, I feel like go hand in hand. Um, but if I can teach them the right way of just how to live life, like I said, if I make them champions, that's a cherry on top. You know what I mean? Like I said, when I
Just
was a
teach them how
kid,
to be better persons,
yeah,
huh? Better
and
men, better females. Yeah,
exactly, and to keep them away from the streets.
yeah.
That's my end goal, right? That's the reason why I'm
See,
doing
but
it,
I think
right?
for that, to be able to keep up and keep following your advice, they have to look at you as a role model, man. That's something you earn,
Yeah,
right? That's
agree.
something you earn. It's not they're not just gonna go and give anybody respect,
That is true.
right? So
That is true.
that's something que todos nos ganamos, respeto.
Yeah,
It starts there, man. So you could win them by being a good person, a good mentor. They're always gonna be there. They're always gonna follow you.
yeah, yeah, and then exactly right. You have to give them the positive example, right? So that means, you know, uh, if I'm around them, they better not see me with a beer in my hand. They better
Yeah.
not see me with all that, because I can't turn around and be like, oh no, no, no. It's okay if coach does it, but you can't do
You
it.
can be, hey,
Yeah,
patea la pelota with the
yeah,
beer in your hand,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Or they clearly can tell that I'm
Yeah.
drunk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
You know exactly who I'm talking about. So what's it called? But to me, that's de que te ganas. What are you doing it for? Are you doing it for the kids, or are you doing it for yourself? Is it for your ego?
That,
Like,
that- that's what it comes down to. And it should be all about the kids, man, and about their growth in the
right?
sport and in life.
And to me, it's like, dude, like that game, our first win, our first and only win, bro. I was so happy for the kids, dude. And it's like, and seeing their joy, right?
Yeah.
And to know how much they struggled, and to finally get there,
Because
that's a lot.
they went through a lot, man. When I
Yeah,
first brought Machu,
yeah,
hit, los goleaban feo.
yeah,
Second time around, hell no,
yeah.
it wasn't no easy work.
And like I said, I do think I have a good group of kids, and I think I have a good group of parents too, because and that's a testament to the parents that I have, because the kids never quit. And then we'd be getting beat, 7-6-0 or whatever, and we score a goal, and they're all celebrating, and they're all ecstatic,
It's a
right?
big accomplishment,
Yeah,
man.
and then they keep, and they celebrate with each other. There's not just that one guy que se cree que, oh, you know what I mean, que se cree
See that the best thing they could do is be a team, man. A
exact,
lot of times they want to focus on this player, blah blah blah. Nah, everybody it's one, man. They
yeah,
win together and they
they
lose
lose together,
together. That's the
exactly.
way it works.
And like I said, it starts as the coach, right? As a
Yeah,
coach, if you allow anybody to get special treatment by you as a coach, then you're creating, or you're continuing that cycle of, oh, las estrellitas.
that's something I seen with you. You have your son there. I don't see no special treatment, nothing. Everybody is the same, so that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, that was always my goal. You know what I mean? Almost to a fault, because I'm sometimes too hard on him, right? Because I don't want the
So you
whispers.
use the yeah,
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 because I don't want the whispers. Like you say, nah, I don't see it, or I don't know. I know it's not that way, but Oxnard, how they are, they talk. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's like, you know, I was I think I was too conscious of that I almost overcorrected. Um, but overall, for me, it's I want to make these kids, just like I said, better. But if they can, uh, what's it called? If they can take something out of it, like let's say, maybe they say they don't get scholarships, right? But they at least get accepted into universities because they could play soccer.
That's already
That
something.
dude,
Yeah.
you don't even have
So
to
so
go
that's
pro.
your goal to get them there.
Of course, right? My goal is, if I can get them to get an education, especially a free education,
Yeah,
man, bro. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? But at the same time, like I said, my first goal is really to challenge them, right?
yes,
Challenge
and you
them, get
have
in
to.
their
Yeah.
face, make them get out of their comfort zone, and push them, right? Because um, I don't believe that, especially in that age, anybody under 13, I do not believe that a kid has stopped learning or
No.
growing.
Well, I
Because,
mean, even us, man,
well,
we
yeah,
still learn to this day.
and that's where I was gonna go. Because in my time in Hawaii, bro, I was the coach that had
Your
the
team.
soccer team
Yeah.
for the military soccer team. Uh, he actually had his credentials to coach in Europe professionally, right? He could coach a C team or a reserve team, professional players like Real
Oh
Madrid,
shit.
Barcelona,
So
Chelsea, lo que sea.
he was up
Yeah,
there in
so
this.
and he only needed like two more classes to be able to get you know the job that obviously he doesn't have the same clout as Jose Mourinho, you know what I mean, or Pep Guardiola, but he could go and coach in the EPL, right? So I learned a lot from him, is where I'm trying to get at, right? And I was playing, right, but I was learning, right, as I was there learning. I was just trying to be a sponge, and for him to teach me, as much as I could learn, and I learned a lot from him. You know what I mean? Like he would get us into shape without just making us run
Too much.
too much, or without you actually thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like he would have drills that you're playing with the ball, so you're having fun. But then when you think about it, because the Apple Watch, and you're like, "Damn, bro! Like I ran a lot. Like damn."
Well, you didn't feel
But
it
you didn't feel
because
it because you're
yeah,
having fun, right? And I learned a lot of soccer concepts, right? Like there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, this kid is super fast. He's good." Wait. Is he fast or is he good?
these are two different things, right?
Yeah. To me, it's like I'm fat and slow, right? And back when I was in the military, I was just slow.
Now you're fat and slow.
Now I'm fat and slow, right? And when I can tell you, I was with especially some of these little güeritos, bro. They were so quick, but they couldn't get past me. Why? Because I used my intelligence, right? And that's something that the coach preached. You have to outsmart them, right? And I like to bring up this thing, right? We used to play a 3-5-2, right? And all three of us were slow as shit. All three of the center backs were slow. We were slow, slow,
Slow,
slow,
slow, slow.
slow, 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 slow. And somehow, but dude, somehow people still couldn't get by us, right? Y luego llegó this one Marine.
Was it yes, you're strong or
No, we were just
smart? Oh, okay.
outsmarting them, and because I would play a high line, right? That's what I'm trying to teach Machu and
Yeah.
Genesis right now, right? A high line, right? Why? Because if you're slow or they're faster than you give yourself time to recover,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And you also give your goalie a chance to be in position, right?
See, see.
Many different things. Pero right, he basically gave me the keys to the team, right? He's like, "You're my defender, you're my center back. I'm going to build a team around you." He didn't say it, but there's moves he made because of it, and there was a certain way that I liked playing, and there's with the high line, right? And we had this Marine dude. I'm still to this day shocked why that coach picked me over him, right? Because everybody he would bring in would have to play my system, and if not, they weren't
So they
getting
had
much
to
play time.
adapt to your system.
Yeah, and some of these players were better, way better than me, dog. And this particular Marine dude was 10 times better than me, dog. Fast, strong. He was just as tall as me, right? And this fool would like follow the ball all the way to the end and then run his stupid ass back all the way back.
Oh shit.
And you know what I mean? And just the whole game,
Up
corriendo,
and down, up and
up
down.
and down. But the problem was he did not understand playing high line. So he would keep running back, and now he would let them, and he would take away my high line, and
Yes,
then
yes.
me ganaban, right? And I would yell at him like, "Cabron, stop!" He was white, so it was in English. Stop getting behind me. Stop running. Stop when you get to me. And me and him were just clashing. The coach kicked him out of the team because
Oh
he wouldn't
damn.
adapt.
And what do you think that happened? Omas, he thought he was too fast and he just wanted to do whatever he wanted, or what? What do you think?
He didn't want to adapt. His knuckleheadedness didn't want to
And
adapt.
then I think that's important in teams, huh? You have to adapt to your team and the program. If not,
Yes.
you're not gonna get nowhere, man.
Exactly. But this is how good he was, right? That later on in the armed forces, there's a all armed forces team, and there's a World Cup that all the
Ah,
different
cabrón.
a World Cup of all the military teams, and they go and play, and they went to go play in China. Se lo llevaron because now they had other they in that team they played a different system. So ahí sí
Okay.
podía,
Hacer lo que
yeah,
yeah.
but they brought them, and that's right there. You only take the best of the best. You know what I mean? And that only reaffirmed my shock, right? Of why did you ever choose him over me, right? Because it's like, and I was just like, dude, that dude's good. Like he's really, really
Did he ever
good.
give you an answer to that?
I asked him, and he never did.
Nah,
He never really did. He just smiled and walked away.
you would just listen to him, or what do you think it was?
It's probably like team effort,
Team
like
effort,
because
yeah,
I was about the team, and
yeah,
that guy was more about himself.
yeah, yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
that's
I think that's the reason why.
yeah. And that's why I think that's what I'm saying. That's where the problem goes, right? Because in auction we want, oh no, just worry about yourself, right? Just worry about yourself. Oh, just pass it to this good
Or
kid.
they depend on one kid to
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like,
Let me see. We have some comments. Want to read some comments? Let's see. Uh,
wow, actually people showed up.
Let's see. A ver qué están diciendo, eh.
La chusma.
Por aquí. A ver, Alejandro Rodriguez. Where's B? B's being a weak fool. She quit already, dog. Damn, spoke too soon. Elenita. Hi. Elenita 805. Dice que hi. Te van a chingar, güey.
Hey, cálmense.
Hueso. Hueso Maricaro. Mario Caro. What's that?
Oh, Mario,
Mario
es my
Caro.
compadre.
Oh, yeah, that's my compa. Daniel Alvarez. Órale, coloniero.
Oh,
And then Ursula, she is. I think when you said that your wife wasn't watching, that's what I'm guessing. Like she
Ursula,
is.
is
I'm
that
blushing too.
Ursula?
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oye,
Ay, ay, ay.
órale, pinche
How
flag.
did she find out?
What?
Ursula.
Oh, social media, fool. Well, what do you think about, or what? What
I
are you
don't
talking
know.
about?
Like, how did she even find out I was coming on?
Social media.
Does she watch it
She
regularly?
follows
Oh, she
the thing.
does.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. A ver, Mario, that's your compa, right? Ahora pinche flaco. Texas watching, fool. A ver, 805 Coloniero 13. Sounds like that cat don't know what she's talking about. What does that mean? That you don't know what you're talking about? Stop lying. I thought my son was good. Job, son. Let's make some leaders. 805 Coloniero 13. I don't know who that is. Oxnard Tigres, talk about it. We expected that. I told her. I don't know what they mean, but somebody or Tigres and $2. 199. Donations.
Oh, okay.
But who's that for? 805 Coloniero. Stop lying. I thought my son well. Good job, son. Let's make some leaders. Who's that? Oh well.
Well, he follows you, not me.
No, boy. I mean, they're watching you, fool.
No, they're watching you. This
Now
is
they're
your
watching
show.
you. They said that que te enseñó bien. Oh well, let's get back to the cheese,
Mm.
man. Who cares? Hey, so everything you learn with that coach, you're using it for your team now.
Oh yeah,
Well, a lot of it.
a lot of it, and that's where like I told trophies, right? Because we got into actually. Funny you say that because one time he came back and trophies was like, oh, I just didn't make it because I didn't make it big because I was short, and I was like, no, fool, you didn't make it because you never had a work ethic, and because you
Yeah,
weren't a teammate, and
yeah.
you weren't about the team. And he's like, nah, nah, nah. But then he showed up, and he showed up because he knows I was right. Because Choforo can play, but he
I
was
think
always
there's
about
a lot
himself,
of people that could
bro.
play,
You
but
know what?
they're not team players, man.
But you know what? That's what sucks the worst. Like I tell people, bro, the talent that Oxnard
But
has.
you know what? I think that kind of goes back to coaching in a way because si este es bueno, siempre lo quieren empujar a él. Like their head grows too big, man. Like Megamind. Have you seen how that fool te pega his head? No, but
Yeah,
for real, man, their ego grows,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
And
No, yeah,
I think coaches have a lot to do with
yeah.
that.
No,
Like you
hundred
say,
percent.
they destroy talent, man.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
dude. I'm telling you, Oxnard, bro. We have. I just like I've played everywhere. Everywhere that I've been stationed at, I've played, bro. And I go anywhere else, and they want me to go play with them, bro. Like they want me to go play. I come here to Oxnard, bro. I don't
Want
even
you to go
scratch.
play.
I don't even scratch the top 1,000, bro. You know what I mean? And it's like, and we just have continuously. But our problem is still the same thing, and that's why it sucks, right? Because I think it's only what Real Mesa that has won the CIF championship out of the area,
All the area.
and to me that sucks. You know what I mean? Because I remember back in we were there, is it was Remesa, CI, Pacifica. You know what I mean? Oxnard always sucked, but but you know what I mean. And Port Winimi, right? Winimi always had a good team too. You know what I mean. So, but now it's like, you know, where is everybody at? Like we still pushing out talent like no one's business, you know. But people are more worried about the Instagram. We're more
Yes.
people about like, oh, okay, all this and
It's
that,
because
and
social media, man. I think it keeps a lot of people from going out, showing up.
yeah, and but dude, it's like it's sad, bro, because you see a lot of these players.
Even fans, man, like even local fan soccer. I remember the stadium, Palmitas,
Yeah,
El
bro.
Sol. People were just they had nothing to do with the players.
So
They
yeah,
would just fucking show up. Okay, la final esto, blah
yeah,
blah blah blah. You know, they were
yeah,
there.
yeah, bro. And
That's
then
how popular it was.
yeah, and then back in the day, you know, venían Atlas, venían Chivas, venía
Yeah,
América, venía
yeah,
la selección, all that. Where they at now? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like they would always come and they would take a few
And
players for trial.
who used to bring them?
Honestly, I don't know. I was too young to even know.
Yeah,
But
I
you
got
know,
to see Necaxa Stadium. I saw Chivas, Awenimi High School.
yeah, and
So,
dude, but they were regulars when I was a little kid in El Camino del Sol, the
yeah,
estadio. I say the estadio because I know it's the Camino del Sol Park, you know, but
yeah.
other people might
This
not
is
know.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, in the stadium, that's all it is. And they used to come by and siempre se llevan a couple
See,
players to
see.
Mexico. And you know, like think about it.
That doesn't happen no more, huh? It hasn't
Yeah, like
happened.
at least we don't hear about it like before. You know what I mean? And
So do you think the soccer scene kind of died down, or what do you think is happening now? Or people are not too involved in it,
well, no,
or
because I,
what do you think is happening? What's affecting that, in your opinion?
from my opinion, I think it's still our ego, bro. Right? Because think about it.
I think ego destroys
Yeah.
people, man, relationships, anything,
well,
anything, man. Ego
well,
is just
yeah,
bad, you know.
yeah. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, we have so much talent of kids that can truly go be something, pero instead they rather just follow the team que is gonna blow them up. You know, like their head, not the
Yeah.
actual, not actually blow up. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
then the parents tienen mucha culpa
oh,
en eso,
los
¿verdad?
padres 100% tienen la culpa because they're like, oh no, yeah, I'm gonna go take them here. Oh no, no, I'm gonna go take them now. When they're, you know, I was gonna say hood hopping, but
No, yeah.
team hopping,
Team
right?
hopping. Yeah.
Is like, where's your loyalty, right? You know what I mean? Like we when you just keep doing that, your kid never really develops a style. Your kid never gets pushed. Your kid never, you know, and when your kid just ends
Because
up,
they never adapt to one thing, right? They're all over the place, so they can't
and that's why they
connect to one.
become egotistical, and
Yeah,
that's why they become players that just care about themselves. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's like, you know, like right here, what we have Ventura Fusion that is technically a semi-pro team now is like the what is it, the Ventura County that plays out of TO or whatever, you know what I mean? And then, you know, we have a great freaking JUCO soccer team here in, you know, Oxnard College. You know what I mean? Like we have, you know, a lot of people that have like played through that team, and you know, they have gotten to go to some universities here and there. We need to look at what them people did, right? We need to look at what they did, and we need to try to emulate that. You know what I mean? Of okay, you know, how is it that they made it? You know,
but then again, I think they should be coming around and try
but
to
I think they
guide and
do.
help. They do.
I
Okay.
think they do. Like if you've seen, I saw on social media, seeing that Yadira's coming back and holding a camp. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah,
And
I think she was doing it at Del Sol.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
And like, you know, for the people that don't know, that's one of the people that made it
That
out.
made
And
it.
actually,
Yeah.
you know, she was playing in the selección and everything for Mexico, bro. Like, come on, dog. Like,
And
it
she's
is.
from here,
Yeah,
huh?
and she
So,
went to
yeah,
Pacifica,
she
and didn't
yeah.
she hold the record for her goals for
Yeah,
how
yeah,
long,
yeah,
dog?
yeah.
So it's like again, the talent is here, dog. But it's like, oh, I guess like you said, is the mindset, right? Like maybe you should reach out to her, try to get her on here,
Yeah,
and see
yeah, we
what
could
she
try.
did. You know what I mean? To and you know, so that we as coaches, as parents, as a community can, you know, try to emulate that and do that. Like I see a lot of like soccer camps and whatnot, but you know, it's a trip, you know, because a lot of people just like, oh yeah, yeah, my son is getting one-on-one training. All right, with who?
Yeah,
Oh, with
yeah.
such and such. Oh, where did he play? You know, where did he play professionally? Oh, he didn't play professionally. Oh, what college? What university did he play?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, no, he was just really great at La Gran Liga. You know, like although, hey, there's some players, some ballers that played in La Gran Liga, bro. You know what I mean? And what's it called? And and some of them, had to leave Mex, because they had to come for a better life over here, and that's probably why they didn't make it. And I get it, especially when we were
Yeah,
younger.
yes.
La Gran Liga had competition. There were some dogs, bro. Um, but that shouldn't be the pinnacle of Oxnard. That should have never been the pinnacle of Oxnard. The pinnacle of Oxnard should have been, hey, get as many kids into, either the
But
MLS,
it all starts. We go back to the same thing. That like start from the bottom, man. Teach these kids and guide them the right way, and then maybe you could make it. But you can't fix somebody that's already there. He was already big, man.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you like, let's say you could guide your team, your kids in a good path, man. Maybe that could work. And a lot of coaches should do the same.
Well, yeah, but think about it. Just think about it in the seasons that Macho has played with us. How many of the teams that we played against actually played with us with a fair team that didn't have older kids?
Yeah, and then you face them again as different kids too.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's different kids. So it's like since the beginning, you're always cheating. You're always cherry picking. You're always doing all this. So what are you teaching your
It's not
kids?
gonna take you nowhere, man.
Yeah, and it's like,
Because you're not building the foundation, man. That's what holds everything,
yeah,
right?
bro. Like, and when people just want to, team hop, then it's just like, okay, bro, go, and you're gonna see them, and then you're just gonna see them plateau, and then all the
Yeah.
kids that just kind of stayed somewhere, you're gonna see them peak, right? Because and you can see that with some of the older Tigres, right? And I'll steal his thunder, maybe, I don't know, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be, talking about himself. But Danny, when he comes, he could tell you all the stories of how many players no querían los jugadores, but now that they developed them, right? That actually coached them, right? Now they want to take them and, oh no, come over here, no, come over there. ¿Pa qué? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, okay, hey, let them go. If the parent isn't willing to, stick with you, if they're not willing to appreciate what you're doing for their kids, then and that's why, like, for me, that's the way I look at it. For me, I look at it, it's now, honestly, the reason why I continue to coach, or I'm going to continue to coach, unless it interferes with me being a dad or a
Yeah,
husband,
yeah.
is because if is I have to give back to the community, right? Because growing up, as a single mom, she would work in Ventura. We didn't have a car. She would ride the bus. You know what I mean? So, someone had to get me to practice. Someone had to get me to the games. Someone had to, watch out. You know what I mean? So we had to,
See, but you still made it, man. To your games and everything, you found the way to make it.
well, you know why? Because the coach would help. Coach would
Oh,
come pick
see,
me
so
up. So that's what
that's
I'm saying. That's where I have to, I feel like I have to
so
give
now
back.
now it's your turn to
To
do it.
give back to the community, to give back, and to help out wherever I can, like I said, wherever I can, even if it's just as simple as rides, and for me, it's because that's what was done for me, right? So who am I to just all of a sudden be like, nah, I'm gonna be too good, right? Then I'm a hypocrite,
Yes, yes.
right? So at least I'm trying not to be as big of a hypocrite, because
Yeah.
we all
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
right?
In some ways, huh?
Yeah, and so one way or another, we're all hypocrites. But at the end of the day, I'm trying not to be, right. Trying to at least do something positive, right? Because we could all do negatives all day long, and so it's too easy, right? It's too easy here to do negatives. But I
That's the
would,
easiest thing to do, I think, huh?
yeah, it's a lot easier to do the wrong than the right thing,
Yeah,
bro.
yes.
But people just want to, I don't know,
Okay, so what's your goal with your Tigres in the next year? Like, where do you see your boys at, your team?
discipline,
Discipline. So you're gonna focus a lot
discipline,
in discipline.
discipline. This year is all of that. That's all it's about. This year is discipline. Okay, because this year we're in a, like you said, we're in a bigger field. There's some new rules that we learn on the fly, but hey, it is what it is.
Even you
Uh,
were mad.
yeah,
Hey, what the
well, bro,
hell,
I
man?
was, and I'm the calm coach. Like, the
Yeah,
credit, I'm the calm
yeah.
coach. But I want them to learn, and my thing is always teaching them the right way. The right way to play soccer. You know what I mean? Um, Passing the ball, moving, understanding, playing with your brain. Not just your attributes. And just getting them to believe in themselves.
Yeah,
If I could
that's
get
the
them to
most
believe in this,
important
yeah,
thing, I think.
like if they all believe in
To
themselves,
build confidence, right?
yeah, because if they were to believe in themselves like I believe in them, bro, nobody would touch us. But
Yeah.
the thing is, most of them are so timid, right? Partially, it's probably my fault because I'm loud.
No, that's good. To me, honestly, to me it's good that you're like that because that means they have to listen. That they do listen. When you speak, they shut up and they listen, man. They freeze and they just. But I mean, you're the coach, man. You know, you're their leader. You know, their mentor at that moment, so they're supposed to follow your rules, your advice.
Yeah, but where I see, so this year is discipline, right? Next year, that's where we turn up the heat even more. I want to, I want to. Okay, now we're gonna start being competitive. You
See,
know what I
this
mean?
is this is the part of developing, right? Developing the
It's
players. It's all
yeah,
development.
yeah. Hey, learning their positions,
Yeah.
right? Learning what what the positions around you are doing or what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's easy to just be like, "Oh, I'm just doing my job and that's it." Well, now if your teammate is out of position and you can, help him out and you over and like that, you help out the team, then why not do it, right? But oh no, no, I just need to worry about myself. Nah,
No, no, it's
team
a
mentality.
team. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
team mentality. What does the team need? Um, and then like I said, next year I want to like truly like start pushing them to get the wins, like actually win,
See, see.
and because
So
I do
next
want
time
to,
you don't want to focus too much on winning. It's
yeah,
just
just
getting on better, understanding the game better, y todo.
because there we're already ahead of the game, and that's what some people don't realize that and it's hard to for them to see it, or it's going to be hard for them to see it because they changed the age groups,
Luego,
right?
los niños tan chiquitos, 6 years old, man.
Yeah,
So
so their
yeah,
comprehension is,
yeah.
so you have to go, year by year, right? You can't go month by month or,
You
game
can
by
expect
game.
them
There,
to fucking
yeah,
change their game in a week or in a month.
yeah, it's all about repetition, and then, but I want to get them to coast. You know what I mean? I do want to take them to coast because if if I get them there early enough, we could truly make runs at it, because like I mentioned, when we finally went to coast, we were already old. So
Yeah,
there
yeah.
really wasn't, we had I think one or two seasons, and then after that, like we all were all aged out, and there was no more
So you guys
coast.
couldn't do much.
Yeah, so we started way too late, but if you start them off early enough, you can, go through the rankings and kind of get up there and get um Oxnard out there,
Yes, yes.
because like it'd be
Yeah.
nice to get the clout back to Oxnard and
Yeah,
Oxnard
yeah.
soccer,
Because they do need it. Because
Yeah,
I
bro.
said in the early 2000s, man, it was fucking hot. Soccer was hot.
Oh yeah, bro. There
It
was,
was all about soccer, I say.
bro, and think about it. It was the Palmitas the Stadium and El Potrero,
Oh, yeah, Potrero, yeah.
right? And everybody forgets about it,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
But hey, ahí
That's
está El Potrero.
hey, like I tell everybody, I said this many times. The best players from that era came from there, man. I honestly think they did. From the early 2000s, I think it was
Oh
the
yeah,
best players came from Colonia. And
oh,
people might think, yes, I was talking about Colonia. It's not just that, man, but we do produce a lot of talent. That neighborhood does produce a lot,
a
man.
lot.
We
We have
just
a
have
lot.
to make the right decisions, man, to grow. That's it, because there is a lot of talent there.
It is, bro, and like we said, there's so many easy decisions to do the wrong things versus the right things, right? Like growing up, we had a player on our team, on Tigres team, that fool was representing the state of California.
Oh
Well,
shit.
you know what I mean? And but guess what? The hood got him. The streets were too good to him, so he
Yeah,
chose that
he chose
life.
the calles over.
Yeah, he chose it, and then
He could have been in another level in life, right?
yeah, he could have been, but instead, I had to go visit him behind prison walls.
Yeah, see, but that's when coaches come in, man. All that matters. Coaching does matter. And then most important, I could say it's parent involvement too. Then our parents weren't really there because of work, and now we have better jobs, better opportunities. We're there for them, so we could help them
Yeah,
make better decisions.
yeah,
It's a lot different if you can't compare the early 2000s to now, man.
yeah. No, yeah,
It has a lot has changed.
and to your point, and to give yourself credit, right? Like you were once
Yeah, yeah,
there, right? So, and when we first started talking, what was the first thing you told me? Yeah, I want my kid not to,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I've seen other individuals like yourself that they don't people they don't even want them to uh be even mentioned in the same name as their past life when their kids are around, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
and I think that's great, bro. That's growth, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because you gotta grow out of it. You
At
gotta grow
some
out of it.
point,
At
yeah.
some point, it's like you can't be running the streets forever, man. And and if you are, you know what you're doing. And then
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
that's up to you. You know what I mean? But you
Hey,
do you.
the
But
streets catch up to you, man.
yeah, so one
You
day or
know?
another.
Yeah, they do.
And the worst part about it is when they catch up to you, it's not gonna matter who's in the car with you. It's not gonna matter who's with you. And then that's when people are gonna start catching
It's
strays.
already too late, man. To
Yeah.
yeah. Well, anything else you want to add? You want to give a message to your tigres, to your tigueritos?
See you Monday.
See you
Get
Monday.
ready.
Get ready.
Hydrate.
Take your water.
Take your
Hey, when
water.
I see it in the app on the message, oh, bring water, I'm like, they're gonna do a lot of running.
Yeah, they are because it's unfortunately soccer involves running
Yeah,
and bring the right attitude. It's all about the right attitude, man,
yeah.
and that's just to life.
Want to give a shout out to anybody before we go? Look at the camera, man.
Nah,
Come
just
on,
no.
come on.
Um,
¿A
I'm
quién?
surprised. Obviously, I want to give a shout out to my wife, especially if since she actually it seems like she actually joined up or saw it. Thank you for everything.
Qué cute.
No te pongas celosa.
All right, locos.
Jeez.
Thank you, coach,
Uh,
for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be here next Wednesday. A ver quién traemos. I don't know yet. I'm
well,
gonna
we
give him a
just know
sneak
it's not
peek.
gonna be Brenda
It's not
because she's
gonna.
fired.
Yeah, she got fired already. We don't want you here, B. Peace out.
Deuces.